How you living, everybody? You're watching Laketoria Nights, a show where we talk about movies, TV shows, video games, and everything in between. I'm your hero guy, Kevin, going plus ultra, joined by your Netflix guy, Andy,
Badum.
and your Marvel guy, CJ.
I can't.
Welcome to the show. What's up with that? Where is it? I gave you your setup and everything. You're just looking at him?
No, when you said the Badum, I just died a little. I couldn't compose myself.
Today we're going to be talking about the Marvel Netflix universe. And yes, I know we've talked about Marvel. Don't click on another video, but this one's going to be a good one. It's a really big show. Really big, yes. Yeah, at this point, it isn't really news that Netflix dropped Iron Fist and Luke Cage. When I heard that they dropped Iron Fist, I was disappointed because Iron Fist was finally going on the right path. I understand why they dropped it, but if they got a third season, I feel like it would have redeemed the series as a whole. When I heard that Luke Cage was getting dropped, I nearly had a heart attack. Granted, the second season wasn't as good as the first, but to me, it didn't warrant it getting canceled. Earlier, we talked about the Netflix rating system and the explanation on why Luke Cage got canceled, and I'm kind of calling hogwash on the whole thing. But before I jump into the conversation, I'm gonna throw the question out there to all you guys. What's going on with the Netflix universe?
I think it comes down to money, plain and simple. Renewing contracts, lack of consistency when it comes to viewership.
So you're saying that's why they canceled Luke Cage and Iron Fist?
Yeah, it's just like when you take a test and you get 100% and a 50%, you average a 75. Is a 75 enough to give you a third season?
It depends. Is a 75 good enough for you?
Yeah, and I think when it comes to Netflix, to pay the money they'd have to pay to keep the shows going, I don't think for them, they might feel as though it's not worth the risk, where you have something consistent like Jessica Jones where you kind of know what you're getting, and Daredevil where you kind of know what you're getting, so they kind of got their third seasons.
But I kind of feel like Jessica Jones' second season wasn't as good as its first, and I feel like it's on the same line.
I agree.
You're never going to beat the first season of Jessica Jones.
I agree, it wasn't as good, but their viewership and how they rated it was on par with its first season. It did consistent numbers.
I don't know. I feel like Netflix just kind of pulled something out of their butt because of something else that's happening around the corner. How about you, Andy? What do you think's going on with the Netflix universe?
I have a slightly more optimistic take on this. What I'm really hoping is that the reason they canned both of those shows is because of the way the contracts were structured. What I really am hoping for is that we're going to get Heroes for Hire and Daughters of the Dragon, or even just one or the other. I don't really care. I want to see another team-up series, because I really enjoyed The Defenders, even if it wasn't necessarily the best. But some of my favorite episodes in Luke Cage Season 2 and Iron Fist have been when there have been those crossovers between those characters. What I'm hoping is that it was a conflict with their contract where, because they had already done The Defenders, they weren't scheduled for like a certain amount of like cameo time or something like that. I don't know.
I'll say that plays into what I said, where I think you'll get Heroes for Hire.
I hope so.
It just won't be on Netflix.
See, I
see it being on Disney's streaming service more than I see it on Netflix. And the reason is because Disney would fork out the money to do it.
Oh yeah, for
where
sure.
Where Netflix isn't going to pay the money to do a third season or anything to lead into these projects. And it comes down to those contract situations where you're going to have to pay the guy who did Luke Cage a lot more money. And then when it comes to the success of Iron Fist, he's going to want to raise too. Mm-hmm. And then to do those crossover episodes, it's like you're paying for 2 episodes in one. Netflix isn't going to fork out the money for it.
Well, I don't think they'd be paid like that, because I feel like if they were going to put out
That's how they are paid, though.
Well, I feel like that's something like that for the previous seasons. They'd be like, all right, well, we have you for this season, and we have you scheduled to have your own thing, and you're going to be on 2 episodes of Luke Cage. And I feel like that's how Marvel has kind of contracted all their other, all their other Marvel characters.
But you got to remember, when it comes to Marvel doing it, and say, like, they go into Disney's platform, Marvel's printing money and can take a risk on failing with something. And I'm not saying Netflix isn't printing money, but with Netflix, it goes to situations like Brooklyn Nine-Nine or Last Man Standing. If you don't own the rights, why take the risk?
I believe that, okay, the money idea from what you said before, and I understand that the conversation we had last week about the whole thing, there has been more information that comes out, and in the end, I get that it would be more expensive for Netflix to, I guess, to make another season. I do accept the fact that Iron Fist wasn't getting the viewership that it needed. I do not accept the fact that Luke Cage had lower viewership, even though they kind of, I don't know if they had like this half-ass whatever thing of how they rate things.
Fell off after the 6th episode when they killed off Cottonmouth.
I was like, Luke Cage died after Cottonmouth died.
I don't think so at all, because when reading it, I found out that the reason why Luke Cage was canceled was because of different ideas of what they wanted to do with the series. So Netflix just dropped it. That's why it was canceled. That's what they've said now. I feel like it's because of Disney's streaming service, and they just don't want to deal with it. They see what's going on, and so they're like CJ said, it's all about money. Netflix is the one that's paying these people, not Disney. Disney's the one that's going to be, I guess, getting the residuals for everything in the end. So it's like you said, Andy. I think you're right. I think we are going to be getting a Daughters of the Dragon or Heroes for Hire. I think that's in the future, considering Marvel's already have 6 episodes for Loki, 6 episodes for Scarlet Witch. Falcon and Winter Soldier is getting their own series as well. So to me, it's just like, well, why couldn't Luke Cage and Iron Fist get their own show? And that could also lead into the Marvel Universe as well.
I think it can, but it's one of those situations, like I told you, when it comes to Last Man Standing and it being on ABC. ABC was fitting the bill for Tim Allen in that cat. And Last Man Standing was produced by Fox, and Fox owned the rights to it. ABC says, why am I going to pay all this money when it's time to renew contracts? I'm just kicking it back up to Fox. And that's how Last Man Standing got back on the air, and would ultimately cancel Brooklyn Nine-Nine, because where are you going to find the money for Last Man Standing? Something had to go. When it comes to Netflix, it's one of those, alright, this is going to be a big bill to go further with these shows. Either we need to negotiate something with Disney to where they're kicking in, or we're just kicking the series back to Disney and saying, you do something with it then.
Okay. Well, then this leads into my next question for you then, CJ. How long do you think Netflix will hold on to the Marvel properties because Disney's launching their streaming service in 2019, I think, right?
Yeah, I will say my educated guess will be Season 2 of Punisher will be the last thing that we get, if there's a Season 2 of Punisher. If there's not a Season 2 of Punisher, enjoy Season 3 of Jessica Jones, because that will be the last thing.
How about you, Andy?
Yeah, I have to agree with them. I mean, they're not going to pick up anything new, and I feel like at this point they're just sort of letting their contracts run out.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure now that Disney has plans to run their own service, that they're going to really wrench down on like the contract pricing and stuff like that for their IP and the actors. Don't see Disney letting Netflix continue to run with what they have.
After watching the 3rd season of Daredevil, they did kind of leave it open-ended for more stuff to happen. And it wouldn't surprise me if they were to squeeze in a 4th season of Daredevil and they either put in the Punisher or put in Jessica Jones or any other Netflix Marvel properties that are still there that they haven't really messed with yet. But I would kind of see it as Daredevil being like a 4th season, and then that's it. That's how I kind of see that happening.
If Daredevil gets a 4th season, it's going to be literally something to tie up some loose ends so they can kick it to Disney.
You think Netflix would do something like that?
I don't think they'd go. I don't think Netflix would go through the trouble.
I think if Disney said, "Hey," I think it would be one of those deals where Disney and, like, you know how Disney got Spider-Man with Sony?
Yeah.
I think it would be something like that to produce a last season of something, just so Disney can pick up where it leaves off on their terms where they want it to be when they start shooting for their streaming service. We want you to get from this point to that point, because this is where we want to pick it up at, and we're going to co-finance it so it can be on Netflix.
I can see that happening. I mean,
you know what I mean? It's not too far-fetched, and Disney has been known to do deals with other studios to say, all right, like just like with Spider-Man, if Spider-Man appears in any other movie that Sony does, let's say if Spider-Man appeared in the Venom movie for whatever reason,
Right.
I don't know, maybe to
would've-
let people know that Venom was in the Spider-Man universe.
It would have been something that for after Spider-Man Far From Home, they can pick up somewhere over there. Like, there would be a method to it. So if there was going to be another season of Daredevil, it wouldn't be solely for Netflix benefit. Disney would have to be getting something out of it. Just like if there was another season for Punisher, I feel like Disney would be getting something out of it. The only reason I think Disney's not getting anything out of the Jessica Jones thing is because Jessica Jones season 3, I think, is just about done shooting.
I don't know where it is at that, but I think you're right, because the showrunner for that show said that she's leaving. She's done after that, so.
Yeah, Jessica Jones is pretty much, season 3 is pretty much done. So that's why I feel like if anything happens after Jessica Jones, it's going to be something where Disney and Netflix have that meeting saying, all right, I need you to get these characters to this point, because in phase 4 or wherever they're going to be in the Marvel universe, this is how we want to get them in.
Yeah.
And because you have the vehicle of having the season 1, 2, 3, whatever with all these characters, you're the perfect vehicle to get us there, rather than us just move it directly to Disney streaming service and just kind of pick up where you left off. They'd probably want Netflix to get them to that point, because Netflix has the past season, so people can binge watch and say, ooh, I want to watch all of Daredevil, I want to watch all of Jessica Jones to get to this XYZ point, rather than say, I want to go to Netflix until season 2, and then I'm going to go over to Disney for season 3. You know what I mean? It just makes more sense that way to have it all in one thing, and then once slowly it phases out of being on Netflix altogether, you'll find the entire library of it on Disney's platform.
Okay, yeah, I can totally see that happening, where Disney kind of makes their own Marvel universe, I guess, where they just have a whole bunch of Marvel properties that you can just go through streaming, which is something I totally see happening. So I'm going to end the episode here right now.
Plus, before you end it, it would transition anybody's feelings of having a rated R show that's on Netflix transition to a PG-13 show on Disney, because the tone down effect would have happened on Netflix. So when you see it on Disney again, it's not brand new for you. You'd already be used to it.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well then, are there any final words on the Netflix Marvel Universe, CJ?
It was a good run. Honestly, going into it, I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. Netflix, bravo for your work.
How about you, Andy?
Disney, Netflix, I don't care which one of you does it. Give me Heroes for Hire.
Okay, so as always, I just want to thank you guys for watching. You're the best. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when we put up new stuff. This is CJ, Andy, and Kevin signing out. Watch more TV and play all the video games.